So just kind of want to talk about this. From a young age, I always felt like this. That putting it straight, really, that priests shouldn't really have big fancy houses and big fancy cars. Like I know a few priests that have brand new cars, top of the range. And people might be saying they're entitled to enjoying themselves and everything like that. But majority of this is, and for example, the houses, the big houses that have the poker houses, things like that. Usually, some of these have big grounds and everything. And it's funded by the people who pay the penance to the church. Every week or every month, etc., etc., etc. Donations from you and I, who pay. Like take for example, when mass did go on, the pass around the collection basket. That's what goes to fund it. And I often said this, and I often said this to many priests that I didn't agree. Um, they shouldn't be, it should be going to things like that, big poker houses, things like that. My idea as a priest and I suppose the Catholic Church, they should be out. You should be using that money to help people. Because again, you see them in Rome, for example. There's big cardinals, and you often see big palaces in Rome and everything like that. And you often see again the church has nearly more money than anybody else nearly in the world. And they could help so many people out with that, so many homeless people. Take for example in Ireland, like the amount of money the Catholic Church has in Ireland, probably lying around somewhere. And again, people say they shouldn't be able to enjoy themselves if they get paid, but again, that's not the thing. They should be really doing God's work, and that's the way I kind of look at it. And not really benefiting themselves, and that's why I would say like again they can buy themselves a few things, but again a good priest is somebody that doesn't care about money and that's there to practice the faith and help people, help the poor, protect, help the needy, help the sick, comfort the sick, pray for the sick, comfort them. You often see priests, particularly now, a lot of them have really just abandoned really helping the sick and helping the poor, and just kind of went into the world of their own and kind of forgot about people. But again, that's the thing, priests have to really understand, again, you give your life, to Christianity, you give your life to the Lord, in other words, when you become a priest or become a nun. And again, there's one priest I was thinking of a few weeks ago that was when one of our priests in Calvin was sick. He took sick leave for a while. There was another priest put in to replace him. He went around in an old fashioned car. And he went around in an old fashioned car, and his ancient car. I think it was 90. I think it was 80 something, 1980 something or something car, or 1917, they call it 70 something car. And the reason why he even said it at the time that he didn't care about money, and he didn't care about he didn't care about how fancy the car he had going around and anything like that. He cared about helping people. You would listen to people, caring for the sick, help comforting the dying. And we didn't care for money, and that's the type of priest I like to see, that just doesn't care about money. That's there to help people, and that's the main goal: to help people, to comfort people in the time of need. Um, and to practice the faith. And again, I think we have the Catholic Church has lost ways of expenses and things like that. Because again, half the money doesn't go to the poor and to the needy and to the people who need it. Like good Christians, it should be going to the people that need it, the poor, the people who are homeless, the people who need it. And not to big fancy estates and big fancy houses like the bishop's house and everything in different counties. I've often I think the bishop, what they called, even Martin's house. He used to be he's another archbishop put in place of him, but I remember seeing his house in Dollymount. I think it was big fancy palace. And again, the people of that area, the people of Dublin, has to when they're paying the collection money or whatever, they have to pay for that and heating and everything, and then you probably walk on the street and there's a few homeless people and you like to yourself, really, again, it's something I feel like it's something I feel very strongly about, that again the priests are entitled to be paid. Don't get me wrong, but again, big fancy cows. Like I know a few priests in Cavan, big fancy floats of cows. Um, and again, and I'm kind of just saying to myself, and maybe it's just me. I couldn't care less for fancy cows or what people would say. If I became a priest in the morning, I wouldn't care less about a fancy cow. Neither would go and walk and just to prove a point. Just to say that I sympathise with people who can't afford a cow. And I would rather walk than, you know, have, because there's people in the world that can't afford insurance, young people and things like that. To sympathise with them and I suppose show understanding. And that's the thing, you need to show understanding. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Again, I know people have different opinion, but I'm sure people agree that, the amount of money going towards, poker houses, for example, and, for, priests going around for different things and big floats of cows and things like that, I don't think that's what Jesus would have wanted, and I don't think that's what Jesus would have tolerated. I must be honest with you. Big flatsy cows, and I'm sure people would agree. I don't think Jesus would be too happy with that. I think you go around and turn every table in the house, in the poker houses, if with what's happening. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about it because again, I feel very strongly about it, and I always have. That the amount of money that's been spent on these poker houses and priest cows and everything, it shouldn't be spent, and it should be going towards people who need the poor, the sick, the needy, the people who need it. And again, it doesn't go towards it. Well, hopefully, please God, sometime, it would change, and hopefully, priests understand, again, that they don't need all these lavish expenses. Because again, a cow that gets it from A to B, a small mini cow even, gets it from A to B is more better than a big fancy photo of a cow. Thank you.